Namaste and a very warm welcome to the brand new episode of the Flypswitch podcast. We are about to discuss the biggest issues in and around the Indian gaming community. And I've seen, experienced, observed other creators and players and gamers and whatnot. I mean, also the stakeholders, various stakeholders in the gaming community. Uh, and I feel this needs to be put out and this needs to be discussed at length. But I think we'll try to not bore you with our elaborated answers or elaborated concerns, but we'll be keeping it crisp and we'll try to condense everything together. But in the meanwhile, I mean, to start with, we'll start with the biggest issue that a person who's still in school and has faced issues. Nav, we'll start with you.
Yeah.
So, what is the biggest problem that you faced as a gamer in the gaming community, or as a rest everything else apart from this? I mean, like everything else aside, I want to understand. You've been a gamer for about, correct me if I'm wrong. You've been a gamer for about 5 years now.
Close 3.
3. All right. So,
Uh,
what sort of issues that you faced right from the first time you actually picked up a controller to
Power cuts.
sorry, power cuts. Power cuts is the main issue. So yeah, that way, yeah, one of those issues that everybody has faced is power cuts. And once you've mitigated that issue, what came next in the gaming community, particularly, is what I'm trying to understand.
Uh,
Like
Over internet.
over internet. Technicals. Let's get into technicals.
A lot of
we talk about some
technicals,
infrastructural
a lot
problems
of
now.
Yeah. Infrastructural, technicals for sure. I really faced one of those myself. Somewhere about around 2018, if I'm not wrong, when I resumed gaming full fledgedly. So one of the biggest issues was bad internet, and I've been tweeting it out for a lot of time that bad internet is worse than bad sex. So, but so
Oh, we have Abhi and Roop Karan also in our
oh yeah,
audience, right?
yes. These guys are also here in the audience. We have a couple of people on the stream as well. So we have been we've been connected. Once you guys are ready to hop into the conversation, do not forget to raise the hand. I'm inviting you guys nonetheless. And you
Said,
can
I'm
hop-
going to make a huge poster of this very quote, okay? Bad internet is worse than bad sex. I have put it in my bedroom.
Bad internet equals to bad sex.
100.
worse.
Worse than bad sex.
Worse.
The
Where's
truth.
Because I remember this thing. I mean, when I'm talking about gaming specifically here, but so when we started playing PUBG, the biggest problem with the internet was that Wi-Fi would be super expensive, and especially in Delhi, a metro city, if you will, and we faced like issues right from the start, and then call it affordability, call it anything else. That was one thing that happened.
Yeah, and the
Simple as that.
amount of companies which were providing good internet at that time were very less.
I remember the thing. I seriously. In fact, if you're, I don't know how many of the OG digital gathering people are here right now, but we used to do this podcast, but from an electronic music perspective, we used to have a lot of conversations around what is going to happen, what is not going to happen. So I remember this thing, and the cost of internet back then when we were doing this radio show. This was not even a podcast. This was a radio show. The cost of internet was about 250 rupees for 3 GB, 1 GB, 3G, 1 GB in 2012, if I'm not wrong. Super expensive. And
That is
We-
something. You can get like an internet pack for 3 months, I think, now. In that.
yeah, I swear.
3 GB per day.
3 GB per day for that. And also the fact that 4G, the the connectivity, the stability of that connection as well. I remember we went to Manali for a quick trip, and I could play PUBG there seamlessly. That didn't happen back in the day as well. But internet was something, and then for parental pressure. नहीं लगाना इंटरनेट 12 है मेरे बहुत हुआ था मेरे साथ ऐसा. तुम लोगों के साथ हुआ क्या ये सब?
या इफ यू हैव एनी नीड जैसे नेट का तो साइबर कैफे है सिफी वाला साइड में, वहां
Aye.
जाके गेट योर प्रिंट आउट्स व्हाटएवर, व्हाई डू यू नीड इंटरनेट?
Yo,
That-
mine was worst. I guess like I just we उस टाइम पे एक ही लैपटॉप होता था या फिर एक डेस्कटॉप होता था घर पे.
Right,
This is back in 2014 when I was doing my 12th in Shillong.
right.
एंड इंटरनेट की सिर्फ 2 कंपनीज है, ठीक है, और दोनों गवर्नमेंट कंपनीज है. सो मतलब ऑप्शन भी नहीं है ज्यादा, ठीक है, और एक ही लगा हुआ है उसमें भी वो मोबाइल विद द लैंडलाइन इटसेल्फ इट्स गॉट अ डिफरेंट राउटर व्हिच
टाटा
transmits the
इंटरकॉम
signals.
वन,
Yeah, the data
अरे
intercom
भाई
one, bro, that was shit as hell,
that was
bro.
really bad, that was very
Yeah.
costly too.
Right.
Yeah, it was costly. So मेरे parents, they used to put a ban on me, ठीक है, I could not play, like we had a like we were 10 people who used to play TS together. So
Right.
as soon as the boards or the pre-boards came into the context, bhai, sub ban, nothing's allowed. No internet is allowed unless you want to search something. So yeah, parental pressure always there.
Parental pressure
Times have
was
changed.
there. I mean, but I think people are still facing parental pressure, aren't they?
Yeah,
No?
parental pressure are still there.
The
Still there in the industry and the gaming community.
community is
Especially in India, I would say.
yeah. I mean, given gaming
But not
is
necessarily we could speak that about India, but I think there is parental pressure everywhere that is there for especially a gaming in
Mhm.
anything related with gaming, because see, some are not really a healthy gamers, right? So when I
Right.
say healthy gamers, you need to know your limits, you need to know your daily living things
right.
before you could sit on the the games or the gaming community that you want to discuss certain things on.
Right.
There's other things which are involved which is a priority, which a lot of people misuse it, right?
Okay.
So that's when the parental restrictions come in of for gaming, or trying to encourage their children for gaming. It's still been a concern, and it will be a concern.
Yeah. I mean,
I can slowly see it dipping. The ratio
right.
is dipping. Yeah,
Right.
because a lot of competitive scenes that have come in place
Right.
thanks to the one big thing which happened, which is PUBG Mobile, which basically gave a lot of scope and to a lot of kids, and also a lot of understanding to a lot of parents that
Right.
there is a future in the gaming as well, right?
Right.
People can make a living out of gaming,
Yeah.
right?
And have some respect in the community too, in society in general.
Yeah.
Right. So that way I remember this Raj यार पुराना बहुत टाइम से बोलते थे बचपन में बहुत सुनने को मिला था खेलोगे कूदोगे बनोगे खराब पढ़ोगे लिखोगे तो बनोगे नवाब probably I flipped it but बचपन में बहुत सुने को
that was right.
अच्छा पहले I thought पढ़ोगे लिखोगे बनोगे नवाब खेलोगे कूदोगे बनोगे खराब ऐसा I think something on
ये
those
था,
lines
ये था. This was the
Yeah.
original.
ये
Yeah.
नहीं बोला था. Okay.
मैंने flip कर दिया था so
हाँ,
I
ये
remember
was it.
so that was the part of that and then I remember this thing very well and then I used to get this a lot बचपन में जब नोकिया 1100 आया था नहीं उससे पहले नोकिया 3310 आया 3310 if you will everybody used to hop onto those mobile phones that's where gaming started for me on mobile phones
Yeah,
essentially.
Snake 3D, Snake and Bounce and all of those games, man.
Yeah, the OG Snake, bro.
yeah
That was amazing. Snake 3D was actually very colored.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It killed the main
the vibe.
essence of the
I
game.
would say
Yeah.
that too. It's like making Mario really realistic graphics. That would
Yeah.
not make a lot of sense to a lot of people.
The- but that being there in parts and parcels of the technology but it was never an industry per se it was like one of the add-ons that used to be part of the USP of any product or service that used to be there Tetris back in the day that those handhelds लगे रहते थे
Yeah.
कि लाइनें काटनी है बस कुछ नहीं करना है और उसके बाद फिर there would be another one that would be the cars one then there would be a bunch of other small and then there would be 10 into 10 in 1 64 in 1 99 in 1 and then
The
999
cassette
in
one.
oh yeah the Atari and the
Yeah.
Nintendo's gaming system and
Yeah.
entertainment systems as well
Yeah.
that's where the whole gaming thing started for most of us if I'm not wrong
Mm-hmm.
the first but the biggest problem that I faced was I personally faced was there was no structure to this sort of entertainment and this sort of entertainment was more or less considered a sort of an evil, if I'm not wrong. Is आंखें खराब हो जाएंगी और ये हो जाएगा वो हो जाएगा, and parents used to be, they used to circle around these particular topics, and they never thought of gaming as an industry that would, germinate into something like an esports industry or a creator industry like a YouTube industry, for example. And then further on, I believe so. I mean, a lot of people who didn't have the exposure to gaming back in the day, that would be the biggest issue back in 2000. Yeah, 2000. Sorry, my bad. so that would be the biggest issue that would be there. That kids would never get exposure because खेलोगे कूदोगे तो बनोगे खराब and things like that. But apart from that, I think now the times have changed, but that thinking hasn't gone. Do you think that way? I mean, do you feel in your chats and otherwise as well that, or in your communities, in fact, do you get time? Can you tell your parents that I'm sorry, I'm gaming, I can't do your work right now? Can you do that?
Yeah, maybe now I can do that.
There is
Yeah.
some progress. There definitely is a lot of progress from back in the day when
Right.
like the thing whenever you pick up your phone and say your head aches, your mom would be like, "और लगे रहो phone पे और game खेलते रहो." Everything would basically be blamed towards that phone, right? Because
Right.
you're on that phone, every possible problem that is happening to you is because of that phone.
Right.
So we have, I think that those days have been long lost now. There is some progress, but I'm pretty sure I can't tell my boss that I'm sorry, man, I can't pick up this deal because I need to play some games now. This is my free time. Those days haven't come yet, I would say, but
Right.
there is a lot of progress, I'd say. Yeah, and a lot of parents are probably realizing that, there is some kind of scope in gaming. My
Right.
kid can do it if and I've seen this in a lot of Fortnite kids. So Fortnite being the game that it is, you can openly participate in tournaments and you can actually earn money. No
Right.
other esport does that, right? You
Right.
need to you need to be a good player to get on a Valorant team. Someone will pick you up after that. You can't openly participate in say like weekly tournaments or something, right? So I see this like a transaction where say you're doing really good. If you're doing really good, you will show for it, right? You will probably earn some money.
Right.
Once you earn that money, you can tell your parents that, okay, mom, look, I am actually doing something. I earned a lakh out of this.
Right.
Maybe there is a little bit of scope. And when your parents or anyone elder, any of your guardian would see that substance,
Right.
they would obviously change. It would obviously change their mindset regarding that, right? At least for another year, they'll be like, okay, you can pursue unless and until you're getting some recognition and some money.
Right.
There is a chance. I don't know about other gaming scenes, but Fortnite, I'm pretty sure, has helped a lot of kids that way around to
Yeah,
pursue whatever. I mean, the proportion again, you need to be in the creamy line. You need to be on top of everyone else to do that good, and that
Right.
is pretty much with every job, right? If you want a well-paying job, you need to be good at what you're doing. So that way around, the gaming being recognized is a good thing. I would say people have more diversified stuff to do.
Right.
It's nice.
But
I guess
currently-
the
Sorry.
elder, not the old, like kids who were born in the 90s.
Right.
I don't think so. Their parents would be understanding this.
Oh, right, they don't
Kids
still.
yeah, like
So-
the new generation kids, their parents might understand this.
Right.
Like I came into the context where like I had to change to colleges and then shift to design because I wanted to do design since a very
Right.
long time.
Okay.
So that is how my parents got to understand that why gaming is important. And recently, when I was like just passing out from college and I was sitting with my dad,
Mhm.
so there's this thing called Apex Tracker, and somehow I got a really good rank in it. Okay,
Right.
so that is what I showed to my dad, and he appreciated it. And him being
Nice.
a person who never used to appreciate me doing all of this, and now saying that yes, gaming is fine. You could do it like once in a while, just because your hands, keep on moving and you're very quick with their actions and stuff like that. So he saw it from that way, and he saw it from a military point of view, since he's a
Right.
military person, right?
Okay.
So his perspective, him changing his perspective to a point where he understands what I want and what I might do good at it.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, now things, since of internet being so, accessible to people, the
Right.
information for it is more accessible. That's the way.
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
the point.
that sort of, I mean, that is a very interesting perspective as well, because I remember like you speak of design specifically, right? And I come from a background as well, which is very design oriented, art oriented as well. So my father
Mhm.
has been part of the creative community as well, and then that's how I told him that I like gaming. I
Yeah.
love gaming, in fact, so much so that my mobile phones, I dropped a bloody, uh, 6600, if you remember, chassis
Okay.
Nokia. Remember chassis?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that used to be the mobile phone back in the day that every single dude would have,
Yeah.
right?
True.
And I'm while I'm using the word dude, I mean every single person who wants to flaunt it. So
True.
so that used to be the
Yes,
phone.
definitely, man.
Right? It used to be the phone for everybody, and I dropped that phone, and I went for Engage QD
What?
because I was that mad for gaming, for that matter. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, that opened up into a gaming
there
crossover thing.
there were
Yeah,
two
nice.
versions of that phone.
Yeah,
There were-
that didn't work in India. You know that, right?
There, so that blew up in a very specific community because that was essentially a
It was very
handheld.
niche. It
Niche,
was
Yeah.
yeah,
very
exactly.
niche.
People who really cared about it, cared about it.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
that's
so-
very funny because I used to dream of having that. Never had it.
and I used to love that phone, and that's how everybody thought everybody saw that I was competing on mobile phones as well against real players and even AI for that matter. So maybe there's something that is very interesting that we
Yeah.
don't understand yet, and then we should push him for. And but again comes the biggest enemy of all children in their late teens, the board. Then that's how, I mean, the board exams just came in out of nowhere, and well, so that happened, and then that biggest enemy translated into the monster of sorts that I would never expect to conquer, but I did somehow, and now we're here. But I still thought that gaming should have been part of that particular curriculum as well. I mean, that sort of that's sort of optimistic that way because I felt that right now gaming is, and in fact back in the day as well, I'm still playing a 2003 game sometimes. So uh, back in the day, that game or a bunch of other games that developed uh, were helping the kids cope up with not just stress but also the creativity that they wanted to put out on paper as well. Comic
Mm.
books were also able to, I mean, were able to kind of mitigate the not just the stress but the creativity levels of other kids as well. So that sort of became
Yeah, the
problem.
visualization part
Exactly.
became more strong. Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
it
Very
became.
true.
It came out to be that, and then suddenly I felt like this is one of the biggest issues that the parental pressure and the technical aspect of it as well. Internet being accessible now has sort of put India on a different pedestal altogether. But now I think this needs to be taken care of in other communities as well. I see Fortnite being the place where parents are sort of open-minded, if not completely.
Yeah.
But in PUBG's scenario, it's not happening.
Mm.
Parental pressure has become such a big deal that the kids who really want to pursue something are not able to
Can
pursue
I
it.
say something
Yeah, please,
on this? It's a news, okay? So I'll just quote the news. So this news just came up, and I'm from Chandigarh.
Right.
But so this guy from Mohali spent his dad 5 lakhs something, I don't know, on PUBG, okay? And his dad didn't know about it. So, and Fortnite, on the other hand, my parents called me one day out of my room when I was back home, and I rarely go back home. Okay,
Right.
so when I went back home, they called me one day out of my room, and I was playing a game, and they called me out, and they goes like, "Look at that! That kid won some grand because he won the tournament of Fortnite." So
Yeah.
I got
I
Booga.
guess
Booga.
so
He won
Yeah.
World Cup. He won $3 million. That's
yeah, bro.
exactly. I had a very
My
similar scene with my
my
friend.
parents don't call me out of my room, especially when they know that I'm gaming and stuff. But at
Right.
the same time, that day they just called me out and they just like, look at that. he's proven something, right?
Wow.
So at the same time, I believe it's more of media content that people follow up, okay? Because
Right.
that is also going to portray a lot of stuff. So if there's
Right.
positivity everywhere, there's going to be positivity reflective everywhere too. So that's the case. That's straight up the case, to be honest. And
That's
India may like
yeah.
middle class families, news channels, biggest play. Come on, that's the
I
game, bro.
swear. Now you've hit the nail right on its head for
100%.
sure, bro. I mean, this has been part of the problem, and this has been one of the biggest problems, in fact, itself. There is barely any news coverage of gaming or
Gaming, yep, in
esports in
mainstream media.
the
Yeah,
in the
the
mainstream.
image is not being portrayed nicely.
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly. And essentially because I would not lie on this fact as well. I mean, look around. We have only a couple of studios, although we have a lot of studios in India. But we are right
Mhm.
now on those hyper. What is that category of of the games that we have on mobile phone? Candy Crush and all that.
Yeah.
What there's
The
a
addictive ones, man. I don't know what they're
yeah.
called. Every 40-year-old plays that.
Yeah, my mom is on 300 some
300
level,
level,
bro.
yeah. 100.
Yeah, my mom is like addicted to Candy Crush.
Yes, something like hyper simple or no? There was some.
No,
There's
I
a,
don't know. I don't know. Yeah,
there's a
there's
particular
something.
the
That's a catchy name for it. Even
Yeah.
I've heard of it, yeah.
hyper something gaming, something on those lines. I forgot. So Candy Crush and all these games came into the play once moms got addicted or moms got hooked on to these. Then only the kids would get their gaming time, if you will. And also the fact that media is not covering it in the light in the brightest of manner, if you will, and the mainstream media is not even investing into covering it. That sort of kind of puts the whole industry back. But now that we have, and this is the recent news, if you haven't already checked out, guys, Nodwin Gaming, one of the biggest gaming players in the industry as well as in the country, has just acquired OML. If you've heard of
Oh.
Tanmay Bhatt, if you've heard of
Yeah,
Olivia
yeah.
Bakchod, if you've already heard of
Yeah, that's a
NH7.
production house plus like
Yeah.
a whole like it's a complete company which includes a lot of assets.
Nordwin
too.
is also like an entity. So right now
Yeah.
they are into Valorant and they're doing watch parties. They do the entire, the Indian qualifiers for VCT
Right.
and everything. They're the ones who have the exclusive
Right.
rights to broadcast everything.
So
They're big in the scene.
they're part of the whole conglomerate, if you will. I don't know if that's the right word or that's the right way to call them, but
They've
Nazara.
taken over, yeah.
Yeah, Nazara Gaming. That is the first gaming company in India to go public on stock markets. So
Oh.
they are part of that,
That
and
is
now
big news.
they've acquired OML and were head honcho of OML, only much louder that is. Ajay Nair has also joined the board of that company. And that is a huge move. And now I think the things are going to change because
Will change, yeah, for sure.
because these
We
things matter a
gaming
lot.
will get some attention after this. 100%. Once stock markets and like mainstream media is involved, people
Right.
start worrying about stuff. They are concerned about everything that happens with it. That's how
Absolutely.
it news.
And then I realized that once this is getting into this, plus I think the guys who are also part of the OML scene, Tanmay and other guys who've been being managed by these guys as well. OML, if you will, if I'm not wrong, that is.
Yeah, they're managed by women.
Yeah. So once these guys are also taking a step in personal finance plus gaming plus so many other things, I think there's a tiny connection. There's a very small connection between all of them, and now these guys are tying it all up, which I think is a brilliant step forward, and I think that will mitigate a lot of problems that Indian community is facing right now. Additionally, if you see that the gaming community per se, right from a boomer standpoint, if you will,
Okay.
and by boomer I mean those who have crossed the legal age of drinking. So that way, I think anybody who's 25 plus, who's crossing into that zone of ab shadi karni hai tumhe. That sort of,
Yeah.
I think, that I think, I don't know. A lot of people they're just not able to
That's
get.
the perception of the society, I guess. 25
Yeah.
par shadi.
I swear, one. But again,
Settle ho jana. Not even shadi, settle ho jana.
settle ho jana.
Settle.
Exactly.
पैसे मुझसे भले ना हो।
Descriptive words, settle ho jana. Seriously, भाई खुद कुछ किया हुआ है नहीं, settle हो जाना.
And game नहीं खेलने देते.
सेट सोसाइटी से याद आया, परसों मैंने एक वो वीडियो देखा था, अंकित वेनम, इफ यू गाइस नो,
No.
ही CS:GO
Acha, that
player.
yeah. Right.
हाँ हाँ
Oh
हाँ,
Okay,
yeah,
now
the
I know.
captain, no?
Yeah.
यस यस. सो उसने वीडियो बनाया था एक्चुअली. एक क्या बोलते हैं, स्कूल का कोई स्टूडेंट था. ही इज बेयरली 9th or 10th स्टैंडर्ड, आई डोंट नो एग्जैक्टली,
Mhm.
but he is really good at this CS game, and he is also like, he participated for 2-3 times in inter-school championships and all.
Right.
But his mother thinks that he is really addicted to games and
Right.
all, and she bluffed him, and she said that we are going to visit uh, dentist or something, gynecologist or something. But when he went, I mean, when he accompanied her to the hospital, it was not
Right.
hospital actually, it was rehab center.
What?
So she हाँ.
I'm glad that
And
was not
then
gynecologist though.
and
Yo,
doctor
psychiatrist नहीं था भाई.
Right.
हाँ, and this child, he was like stressed and traumatized by seeing all the jail kind of place. So the
Ah,
place was entirely like celled and all. Like,
bro.
Yo, that's dark, bro.
That is
That's
dark.
super
yeah.
dark.
So and doctor, he's like 50 or 60 something. He's old guy, and all his these nurse and all their hospital people, they were like convincing his mom, like, don't allow this child for any further gaming stuff. These kids will grow into drug addicts,
Right.
and they'll be toxic. And they were referring to one man who was scratching his head and his hands, and they were saying that he will turn into this guy future eventually.
That's one of the biggest problems I've seen in the gaming community as well. I mean, there is so much fear mongering. Sorry?
This
Bro,
might-
this I just felt scarred after this, but
I swear, man. This reminds me of like one of the
This
incidents.
guy, he like DM'd Ankit and said that bacha lo bhaiya, bacha.
He just landed on his chat and did that.
No, in
DM'd him,
Instagram.
DM'd him,
Instagram,
DM'd him.
What? And he had access to Instagram.
Yeah, bhai.
Sorry, Batman mode on. I'm sorry, but
Yeah. Don't try to tie the knots here.
yeah, I'm trying. because that
Suppose you feel bad. Why are you trying to make sense out of it, man? Come
I
on.
am
Bro.
trying because because
Nah,
that
nah,
was-
nah. Wait.
Maybe he's using his
अब मैं
mother's
सोचने
phone.
लग गया.
Yeah,
But
he was
then-
just looking for that one outlet so that he can get some help. और आप उसमें ऐसे logic लगा रहे हो, sit by very very bad, bro.
नहीं अब सोचने की बात है मगर
I mean, so that he had access to Instagram. So I am, even if it is his mother's phone, I am still
Mhm.
curious. But on the other hand, this is dark. This reminds
that's
this
dark, bro.
this is actually really dark. I'll tell you this. I mean, this takes.
man. Holy.
I swear, there was this time when I was just walking past the, I mean, the gullies and everything else, and there's this Sabji wali Didi that I speak to, and just normal namaskar exchanges, and she ended up speaking to me about how her sons are not doing anything, not studying, and they're playing PUBG all the time. And there were a couple of other ladies who were sitting right next to her. So, and I could understand the whole mix of the school of thought. So basically, and then this lady comes up and she goes like, "नहीं खेलते बेटा, तेरा सर फट जाएगा." मैं तो बोला आंटी, क्यों सर क्यों फट जाएगा? वो कहते हैं गेमिंग खेलने से आंखें खराब हो जाएगी, आंखें एकदम फूल जाती है, फिर सर फट जाता है. तो
Yeah, you're like a
That-
crackhead then.
yeah, I mean, it's in some sort of explosive get planted in your head. So basically, this has happened because this is the tier 3 media, if you will, who has planted these narratives in people's
But
mind.
Sid Bhai, I feel that there is a connection with like everything. So
Right.
so while people like us, we're sitting over here.
Hmm.
Of course, we're trying to do this podcast, try to talk about issues. While we're on the good side, and we know there is a limit to everything.
Exactly.
You cannot be playing something for 24 hours and cannot be healthy, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to promote this. We're trying to make this a good issue. We're trying to make people aware of this. And of course, we are collectively making an effort to make gaming look a little bit better in everybody's eyes.
True.
But there are people out there who miss their semester exams because they could not get through that Dota game. I've heard of so many cases of there was a
Yeah,
very
true.
bright student. He was doing really good, got into Dota when he was doing engineering. My man did not give his semester exams. So again, I don't
Cases
think
are there
getting,
too.
getting into something like this is it is a problem. It is a problem.
Right.
You cannot be playing something for 24 hours. But
Of
even
course.
if you're this addicted to something, and if that is set at a priority level for you,
Hmm.
try getting recognized for that skill, right? You can't be skipping your SEM exams and play ranked games, right? You need to compete if you're doing that good, right? And if you're not that good, then why are you competing?
And
I
the
like-
That's
worst
exactly
part is these type of news gets highlighted. But
Exactly.
on the other hand, when somebody achieves really great things in
It doesn't
gaming
make-
scene,
yeah.
it's not in
Yeah.
news
It gets
or anywhere
overlooked.
else.
Yeah,
And you know
basically.
the even worse part about all of this, जैसा आपने बोला कि this thing gets highlighted, this does get highlighted, and because it goes through so many mouths and ears, it gets translated into the thing that आपने सुना कि किसी का माथा फट जाता है
Yeah.
गेम करने से.
Exactly.
This is all Chinese whisper.
Exactly. So that way, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So this is another another issue that I've seen so far. The one-off issues that we feel that we have seen around us, they need to be dealt as one-offs as well. Again, I'm not advocating the fact that you should be, missing out on your SEM exams. That's,
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, nth issue that
Healthy.
I've already, yeah. So another issue, structure, give your gaming regime a structure.
Yeah, the structure is important.
Very
A structure is super important. Like right now, there used to be a time I was grinding Call of Duty Warzone. If you go back as well, and I see a bunch of other people who've done the same thing as well. They were grinding with me for about 6 hours, 8 hours at a stretch, without, in one breath, and that would become our regime for the days to come, so much so that we'll burn out, we'll clash, and we do things. Then once we withdraw, it sort of felt like there's nothing else to do. So we didn't make a structure to that, and I'm personally feeling now that I've put a structure to what I want to do with gaming or other things, I feel better, and I feel better so much so that if I'm not feeling like playing today, might as well take some time off. If I'm serious about gaming as a profession that I want to monetize in future, might as well make a structure out of that as well. Because this is not just, it's like gymming, for example.
It cannot be mindless. There needs to
Exactly.
be a direction.
There has to be direction, and plus the kind of structure that you put in gymming, because you're using your muscles, you're doing your homework around that. I think the same, if not the same, but the similar structuring can go in esports and gaming at the same time. What do you think? Because I particularly feel that this structuring needs to be there, because it's a library of its own. It's a gym of its own in your head. Most of your hand-eye coordinations and the kind of muscle memory, the
100%.
developments, and a bunch of other things that you're doing, these things are part of the thing, and those need to be structured. Otherwise, you'll burn out super fast.
Very true. So there's this whole thing, right, with controller grips. If you play a lot of claw, you can get carpal tunnel where your fingers will be completely disfigured. So you need to take care of it, right? If you actually are willing to compete,
Right.
you need to take care of your fingers. So
I was super
just like
scared.
gymming.
There was this time.
And also,
Exactly. I believe Roopkiran comes from the PUBG days back,
yes,
and
yes,
also
yes,
Knockout.
yes, correct,
So
correct.
we have connected back in the day, and these guys, while I was playing on mobile phone, and everybody was also part of this community, very tight community that we used to be a part of, and still are, but people have sort of changed. But in the meanwhile,
Parted ways.
yeah, so just change, transition. If not parted ways, particularly, everybody's still around, by the way. So what I was getting
I
to was
switched to Apex.
ले लो एक और Apex वाला. So that way we sort of switched games, still were in touch, but there was this trigger that used to be there. I don't know if you remember. PUBG mobile के triggers आते थे.
Yeah.
I ordered like
Put
a
it on the shoulder, right? Shoulder of
yeah,
the phone,
shoulder
and then
shoulder
the
of the
next.
phone. Exactly. So we used to use those. Ordered like 3 or 4, and I used to use
Oof.
those because I was super scared of getting carpal tunnel. Turned out that I didn't get carpal tunnel when once I started doing claw, but it kind of turned the entire exercise bit a little. I mean, I used to flex a little more. Used to pay attention to my body a little more as well. So I thought that sort of helped in a positive direction. But that also matters how you're deducing the entire thing. So that way, I think that changed for me as well. I don't know. Rupkaran, you still do that? I mean, do you still play PUBG Mobile, or
No, I
how are
don't
you?
play anymore.
But you were the one who was doing claw, didn't you? Weren't you?
No, actually it was partial. Like I would say it's more of a three finger.
Right. That way. Right. I remember that. I don't know how people did that, but I did that. I didn't do that. But that sort of started getting into that, and that's how I derived that there needs to be a structure, because otherwise carpal tunnel would be one thing. Another instance that happened. The
And
second
one more
would
thing I would like to add to this point, like especially in India where it is like people are more like it's populated country.
right.
So if you don't make to gaming scene,
Mhm.
you need to have I mean some sort of second option. So I would suggest like if people are prepared with that sort of mindset that ये नहीं तो गेमिंग नहीं तो कम से कम
Plan B.
एजुकेशन हाँ प्लान बी होना चाहिए.
Uh, but to be honest, like in Delhi, I remember because I've done my 10th till from 6th to 10th in Delhi. So around like in 2008.
Right.
So like scenes for not cyber cafes, but like gaming cafes came into the
Right.
context. And I guess I still have a lot of friends who used to roll like COD, Modern Warfare 2, something I don't remember that,
Right.
but something like that, right? So we used to go sneak out from their houses, night stay, sneak out, go to the parlor because 12 से सुबह के 5 बजे तक सब कुछ free होएगा. ठीक
Right.
है, make a pass, give him 500 rupees, get the pass, sit, do a complete like 7-8 people doing like
Land night.
yeah, land night sort of things. So I guess agar us time pe if we had like good access to knowledge about how stuff could be like diverted into making it practically work
Right.
and like try to make a scene out of it, try to
Yeah.
build a what do you call it, job out of it, I don't
Right.
know.
Right.
So it would make sense, right? Like we still have people who were playing CS like in 2016 I met a person जिसको मैं सबसे पहले CS tournament में मिला था, which happened in Delhi back in
Right.
2008, and I met this guy in Chandigarh out of everywhere, and I
Right.
saw this guy because I had few friends from Himachal जिनके घर home घर पे like in their village they've got every Sunday tournaments of CS, ठीक है? So
Right.
these guys, like these 5 guys, had their own team, and they
Right.
were freaking brilliant, bro, freaking brilliant, ठीक है?
Right.
And this guy I meet just because I met him when Delhi mein, I was back small in my 10th and stuff. So I
Mhm.
met this guy there, and this guy had a team of people who were all in MNCs above 32, all married, but वो सब लोग खेल रहे हैं.
Right.
And these guys literally knifed my friends out.
What?
Yeah,
That's
in
the
CS, bro.
biggest
like
pop
that.
That's
both
the
of them.
diss. That's the
Right.
diss they did. Like flash after flash after flash. It was so
Bro.
funny. It was so
Bro.
funny.
See,
Hilarious.
that is so funny. मतलब ऐसे in general, I feel that our population is so huge. I'm pretty sure there's so many people who are good at
Yeah,
so many different
hidden
things.
talent.
Yeah.
Like there
It's
would be
just that
such.
people just don't get groomed well, and people
Right.
don't know about the avenues correctly. And that is the difference between European countries, say Sweden, and like other countries which are flourishing in CS:GO and other uh,
Other
FPS games like
esports.
Valorant.
Yeah.
They just know Mastralis and
You know
ये
the
उसके बाद ये
CS
Mm.
good things है.
women team, Indian women team, no? You know
Uh,
about it.
no, not
So
particularly.
their captain, I don't remember her name, but I read an article about her, and I was basically reading the magazine, वो HT magazine जो Hindustan Times में आती है Delhi में. So I was reading about it, and it had a lot of various people like Nuclear, Like a
Yeah.
lot of people, like different professions and how much they earn, unki monthly salary kitni and stuff like
Right.
that. Okay. So I just went upon it. I kept reading. So udhar se I just find this girl, and she was representing Indian CS:GO team and stuff. She was
Right.
earning 5 lakh in 2014. She was
Right.
earning now 2021, not 21, 20 last year. My friend just called. We were having a chat about why Indian scenes isn't good. So हम लोग Apex इतना grind करते हैं, हमें क्यों
Right.
recognition नहीं मिलता है and stuff like that.
Right.
And then he comes up and he tells me, ki, bro, did you hear about her? She's earning like 15 grand right now, and she's the captain of the Indian CS team, and then at the same time she basically is like a game tester for a few companies. That's
Right.
freaking crazy, bro. That's the amount of elaboration
Yeah.
and structure you need in order to attain something.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying right now. I mean, another big issue that I also see that one, you mentioned that those guys who were the other people's.
If they had
whoop
the
them-
access, the accessibility to it, I guess that's the way.
Yeah. And that's
Accessibility hona bahut important hai.
exactly, and also the fact that we have a structure of lives as well at the same time. Like you mentioned, the guys who were married were also whooping asses. If I'm not wrong. So
That's
right now
all of us in 10 years, by the way.
that's not all
Yeah.
of us. That's not all of
Gonna
us.
knife kids.
One of
In-game,
us
guys.
one of us is
Many
married
of-
right now.
Oh,
Oh yes.
Oh, he's been silent for a very long time. He's generally silent,
Yeah.
but he's here.
okay.
I think he'll
Yeah.
recognize himself once I'm finished. I'm done with this sentence.
I hope he is.
I already recognize.
Can't be forgetting such an important detail.
No. Shit, you just
So-
hit the nail in the coffin.
Right. so knockout. How do you? I
In
mean,
the coffin right on the head, dude.
this is something.
Headshot. भाई सीधा body shot भी नहीं बिना warm up का headshot मार दिया भाई.
Oh, man.
That's
Accuracy
exactly.
of aim भाई.
So how I really wanted to understand was how do you manage that balance? Because I think what a lot of us would be in about 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, I don't know. So given the measure, you're the one who's actually managing a couple of things that you were that you are making your ends meet with. Then you also have a personal life that you're managing at the same time, and then you also have this gaming head that you want to cool off with. So how do you exactly manage gaming with all of these things? Because I think that's something that everybody wants to know, because that's one thing that can turn into a tutorial video as soon as you're done with this podcast. So then I just want to know, how do you manage that? Because I think once that gets through, I think we can show this to the rest of the parents or who are sort of worried how will you get married if you keep playing games. So I want to know, please.
I started it, then stopped it, then got married, and then started it again. So there is a difference, right?
Right.
Okay. So the way I manage it is just to ensure that when I have something on my hands or if I'm working, I try and focus myself on the work, right? Because we are all attached to a string of couple of strings that are tied up to the monthly
Yeah.
basis that you need to address towards.
True.
Right? Those strings are very important. Now you cannot cut one of them as well. So right?
Right.
So keeping that in mind, is gaming is something that I do for relaxation purpose. Nothing
Right.
more than that. Right? I'm not looking to get into competitive scenes or anything as such. It's just that I come here, relax
Mhm.
myself, try and get that peace head. But at the same time, I try and think about what next while I'm
Right.
playing game.
Right.
It's not just that my 100% focus is towards the gaming or whatever game that I'm playing. I
Mhm.
generally don't do that. If I have a free time, then probably Saturday Sunday I'm thrilled because I see a lot of people online on Saturday Sundays who want to play games and
Right.
probably enjoys my company playing
Yeah.
with them. So
Right.
I manage things in between such that I don't commit myself to be here on the
Right.
PC and start gaming always.
Right.
I try and address those things that needs to be addressed first before I could just hit this,
Right.
computer
Prioritization,
and the
basically.
chair.
Right.
Yeah, simple as that.
Prioritize.
It's the way to go about it. It's when you know for sure that you are done with the day, then it makes sense that you basically sit on it and
Right.
start playing your game and then relax back and enjoy yourself.
Right. I think there's
There's-
there's there's one more person who's right now missing as well, but I think they would be very very capable of answering the similar question, because that I think uh, this particular thing needs to happen after a stage that you, in fact, at any stage, if I'm not wrong. While you're studying, while you're done studying, while you're working, while you're looking for a job, there are a couple of things, or even if you want to just take this up seriously as a job, you need to prioritize. And I believe prioritizing sort of helps cut out the faff and gives you the structure that you need. And structuring is important as well. Bunch of things that you would go for. I think.
Very, very
But-
important to structure yourself, and
Yeah.
it makes sense for. I'm not sure out of 6 who are here
Right.
who have decided their careers or path or no, right? If you're trying to
yeah.
make gaming as a career,
Right.
probably yeah. If you are in studies right now, which you don't have a strings attached, yeah, probably yes. You should focus on it and you should try and work towards it,
Yeah.
right? Because gaming can be a career.
Yeah. Now the doors
But-
are open. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, the doors are very much open for it, right? Now things are a little different in my side, where because I've already moved on the phase where I cannot make gaming as my career,
Right.
right? Not anytime soon, even if things happens of various things that I'm planning across and things like that.
Right.
So it will take the time for sure, but yeah, if you have the dedication towards that, yeah, you're going to achieve yourself a target that you set for yourself, then
Yeah.
you should probably start working on that.
I mean, that way, I
That-
think
that-
the kind of structure that the kids are already served with right now, at least, I mean, I'm not talking about kids in a condescending manner, but the people who are already in their early stages of life. The kind of structure that.
change in the Indian gaming community is just not about finishing your schoolings and just getting a very good mobile phone which can handle your gaming. Right? This is a wrong thing. Now, when we talk about the Indian gaming community, as far as what I feel where it's wrong is it's kind of a blackmail, I would say, to the parents. Like, I'm
Mhm.
doing a board exam and I would expect a better mobile after the board exams, and it's like I'm going to score a good marks. Probably it's going to be about 60 or 65 is also good marks in today's generation.
Right.
So I'm going to get a mobile which is probably about 50, 60 grand, which I can play BGMI or whatever I want to play in.
True.
Right? Now, this is the mentality that comes in. Now, this needs to change. The reason I say this needs to change is
Okay.
it's not the start of the gaming career.
Right.
It's just a device that is going to help you play games, right?
Right.
Like you can misuse it, you can play it all day
Right.
and do nothing and achieve nothing.
Yeah. It's the gateway
हर
thing.
कोई
right?
या हर कोई गेमर बनना चाह रहा है, हर कोई स्ट्रीमर बनना चाह रहा है, हर कोई दूसरा बंदा टूर्नामेंट जीतना चाह रहा है.
Right.
It doesn't work like that, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of up and downs that they've gone through, a lot of things that they have
Exactly
gone
what I
through
said.
as a
Yeah.
team before they can hit that milestone, right?
Right.
People need to sit back and think what will basically go on further before judging into somebody's thing. It's like I can see a lot of people probably on your streams that they just come onto your stream and say hi. Okay,
Right.
we know what, he's a gamer, right? So
Mhm.
he's got a computer, he's got a setup, which means I'm gonna get the setup, I'm gonna start streaming.
Right.
But they don't know
What goes into streaming?
what goes into streaming, right?
Right. Right.
Like
That-
when we
yeah.
talk about streaming,
Yeah.
when we talk about internet earlier, we spoke
Right.
about the gaming devices earlier. I mean,
Right.
come on, let's
Yeah.
talk about it. The smartphones have been in India for quite some time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
How many of them got a best of smartphones until and unless PUBG was launched? Everybody had a ambition or a dream to get a good mobile that they can play
True.
the game on,
Right.
but they were not thinking anything beyond that, right?
That's
They
exactly
were only
what it is.
stuck with the
Yeah.
device.
Yeah.
There's a lot of various things. Now, when we talk about abroad, leaving the Indian gaming community aside, when we
Right.
talk about other gaming communities like Europe or NA, these are the guys who are like probably they start off with it probably when they're at the age of 8, 9, 10. Probably they start
Right.
holding onto the joystick and start streaming and things. Now,
Right.
this is where they understand the gaming maturity.
That, yeah, mindset, if you will.
Mindset.
So true,
It
very true.
completely is different.
Right. Mindset has changed as well. I mean, I would say that PUBG, not exactly PUBG, but Counter Strike, if you will. That was, I think, the
PC
initiation
section
of.
of it. When we
Yeah.
talk about Indian gaming community, I think the mobile gaming community is bigger than the PC gaming community.
For
Uh,
sure.
for
Has
sure.
become
Just
big.
because,
because
just
I think that's
because
a
it
belief
had
for it.
more
It's cheaper.
people.
If you
Just
ask an
because
NA
it
kid, are
had
you going to
more
play a
people.
competitive game
It's
on
more
a mobile?
accessible.
He's going to
Yeah.
say, who the hell is going to play a mobile on a cell phone, dude?
पता है अगर लोगों के पास में ढंग के पीसी सीएस के टाइम पे होते तो वो
Exactly.
लोग तब भी खेलते अगर उनके पास में ढंग का इंटरनेट होता वो तब भी खेलते ठीक है
True.
And
Like,
that is
We
also the
talk
reason
about
why
internet. We
हाँ
have internet,
but
good internet
phoning
right now.
phone
But
game
these guys had internet
best
much before even we had a good internet, dude. We were still
हाँ
in the
true
age of
they were better
recharging
than that.
250 rupees every month for a GB of data.
That's right.
And
That's
they
exactly.
But these
already
guys were
started
on
holding
100
LAN.
Mbps at that point of time, right?
true
LAN
true
तो
true
होते थे यार, LAN चालू कर दिए थे उन्होंने तब से e-sports
Huh?
में तो. They were way ahead of us. That is very
yeah
true. That is one of the big
Way,
reasons why
way
we
ahead as of.
such yeah latecomers into this. That is true.
We,
And
we
then,
were very late, but we're still not there yet for the PC community, honestly. Yeah, things are changing. Things are changing day by day. That PC community is getting more notice.
right.
There are still
to be
so many
honest
people who can't understand what game is it, what device it's played on. I mean, yeah, a game like probably they're playing. Let's say Sid ends up playing a game which is Cyberpunk. It's like ये कौन सा game है? Android में चलता है क्या?
Right.
That's true.
Right?
Then, yeah, that's exactly. I remember this thing very well. Answering these questions while I was streaming Warzone. कौन सा Call of Duty है? Mobile पे नहीं मिल रहा मुझे.
No.
What the heck? I know that you can't get it that easily, but this is Call of Duty because a lot of people started making sense of what is seen on the screen and what sort of guns that I'm using, and plus it sort of the FPS version was pretty similar to the mobile version in some ways. That way, I understood that okay, a lot of people were trying to get that game on the mobile phone. Plus, people started understanding Warzone is coming to mobile phone, Apex Legends is coming to mobile phone. Everybody's
that
still.
never happened
Yeah. Now, it's happening, by the way.
Valorant is
Apex.
also coming to
the
mobile.
point is that people outside they have a perception कि अगर India में they're launching something it's supposed to be mobile version
Mobile,
of
yeah,
it.
because
Yeah,
of
yeah.
how
So
PUBG.
to be honest,
popped up.
Apex, there are a
Right.
lot of players of Apex, and there are a lot of great players of Apex. Agar if
Right.
today the Apex community in India, for according to me, if it stands like together, we could have a lot of teams that can pop out, right? But
Right.
at the same time, if like Apex itself came up into the context कि अगर हम लोग mobile version launch कर रहे हैं, India, Thailand, and like South
Philippines.
Asia was the place to be it.
Yeah.
And obviously it's going to boom out there because we've already PUBG was struck out. The
Right.
only thing was left to play COD. The competition to चाहिए ना.
True. And
Makes
उसके
sense.
and
Business
then
standpoint से भी.
mindset भी वह हम लोगों का वैसे ही है कि ओके अभी खर्चा नहीं करेंगे because PC is useless for some reason. We'll buy PS4 once we have money.
ये
I-
process change होने में तो थोड़ा time लगेगा अभी. There is still time, I think.
Right.
Or
I guess हमें बहुत time देना पड़ेगा अभी फिलहाल like
True.
at least three very like
People,
बहुत कम मांग रहा हूँ but हाँ 3 तो लगेगी.
3 साल.
काफी time.
हाँ.
3 साल
Yeah.
बहुत कम बोल रहे हो यार आप.
हाँ, yeah, because
There's still time.
But the other problem is कि people do not want to like whatever the bigger streamers. I don't want to diss anybody, but
right.
what I see is what bigger streamers stream. That is what people reflect on. ठीक है? It's another way of saying कि हाँ media चालू है. समझ रहे?
Right. Right.
So like what they see, even if another person is streaming COD or Apex,
Right,
उसके
right.
3 viewers आ रहे हैं. At the
Right.
same time, जो Valo कर रहा है या फिर CS तो I don't think so a lot of people would. Like
Right.
only hardcore people would go for CS. Who've got a
Right.
thing for CS,
but
right?
जब से Valo आ गया तब से CS
So CS
काफी
has
हाँ,
has
so
been-
I guess everybody goes for Valo now.
Right.
And जो Apex stream कर रहा होगा, even like a person in his stream who
Right.
doesn't know what Apex is, and a lot of like it's more mechanical of a game. It's not like just technical or just understanding की movement कैसे होती है.
Yeah, it's
Right.
very-
There are
Only
le-
hardcore Apex people would know this.
No, I
But
mean
at
I
the-
understand. Like from any
understand.
esports person who's been into battle
Yeah,
royales,
comp for sure,
yeah,
for sure.
esports, a
If
competitive
you've
person.
been
yeah.
here, you know what it is.
Exactly. So if you don't understand, you dissect the entire game into a couple of things, structured learning, if you will, because movement, mechanics, physics, other things come
So,
into place, and
like,
you
you
start
know,
evaluating the same way.
I've seen happening this with you, and I asked Knockout sir about this. That Sid के साथ कोई problem हुई है. That is why he shifted towards another streaming platform and stuff. And
Right.
he didn't have an answer for it. But at the same time, I guess तेरी stream पे भी ये हुआ था. People would come and say कि तू ये क्यों खेल रहा है? तू ये ऐसा क्यों
No,
कर
no,
रहा
no.
है?
So the whole gaming, like streaming, was a whole another story. We discussed this last time while we were
Mhm.
talking about how
Yeah, I
Tim
know,
and
I know.
Lupo.
I heard it. Yeah.
So
heard it.
on my shift was because my schedule right now is such that the things that I want to do further
Yeah.
on for the community, with the community, and within the community, uh, there would be there. It needs some time off. And while I was on Twitch, the onus was on me to manage 2 channels, which is not possible for me right now because my hands are tied. In other places around the clock.
Yeah, got it.
So I just need to.
What I
manage the
mean is the
timeline.
people who come on your stream and try to direct you, right?
Oh, that all right. So
That's
that,
the most
So
irritating
that's
part.
what I mean. Like, come on, don't tell
Mindset.
me because
Yeah.
मैं 25 का हूँ, मुझे पता है मैं क्या करना चाहता हूँ, तू मुझे कुछ बता.
And then वो लोग
Right.
chat पे आके बोलते फ्री फायर खेले ना. The thing is that
हाँ,
advice they give is
BMGI.
BGMI
BGMI,
Yeah,
BGMI,
I
yes,
spelled it wrong too. Come on, give me a break.
Yeah, BMGI,
I
right. So that
I personally feel for the whole point of people in India getting PCs and other gaming peripherals
Right.
and that being mainstream in India. I really feel we need someone to pop off, become a poster boy for the Indian gaming scene for the common Indian parents to know it, because if you look
Right.
at it, there were Sachin Tendulkars, there were Virat Kohlis, and there were a lot of Rahul Dravids and VVS Lakshmans, and that is the reason why every Indian household has bats and wickets and bails, right?
right.
So we need someone like that who can probably pull out a booga and win 3 million, so that somebody realizes the importance that there is.
We'll
scope
have an
over here.
occupied once. We'll have one
I'm
occupied for
too
sure.
old for it. now.
No, you-
I
know,
wish I could. The silver lining is my parents have always been supportive in whatever I've tried to do.
Glad.
Lately I have this thing whenever like my mom gets irritated and she's like, why are you playing so much? Ye wo. Usually she's very supportive, but sometimes ek do kaam nahi kiya to she gets irritated. She's like, why are you gaming so much? And I tell her, mom, I could be going outside and doing drugs, man. At least I'm just gaming right now. So,
Right. And if you're in front of you, you can join me. So.
so then she's like, okay, chill, bacha आगे बढ़ गया, अब छोड़ दो. So something like that. So I think we need someone to step up, and
I think,
that
yeah,
is going to
that-
be a huge task.
Yeah, so that way the mindsets have changed as well, and plus the whole, the reflexes against certain stereotypes, like stop gaming, your mind will rot, because
Yeah.
or otherwise you'll get addicted and stuff
Also-
with all these stereotypes. So
I also feel that other professions, which usually people of other important professions, I say professions like engineers or doctors who consider themselves as important professions, they
Right.
do not really pay respect to a profession like gaming, because they essentially just feel that we're earning money, or anyone who's earning money from that is earning money for free, like having fun. That is that mindset.
Yeah.
That mindset has to change. While we're in the process of making gaming known in India, there is also a long way to go to like make gaming look like a respectable profession in India.
yeah, I mean
And,
gaming
like,
as an industry.
I-
as well, yeah.
I had like uncles in army who used to come with, like, during my birthday they used to come with Age of Empires, Civilization 2,
Bro.
like
Food
these
tycoon.
these side of this side
Right.
of gaming, which was way too intensive back in 2000
We need
till
to
2005
Right.
and 6, something like that.
2000.
So
Oh,
five.
this is 1998, 99.
No. The first the first Age of Empire I played was in back 2003 for sure.
You're too late to that then.
हाँ
So
हाँ too late
that
to
is
that, for sure. हाँ तब तक आया भी नहीं था, उससे पहले
Yeah.
डेव में फंसा हुआ था मैं, और मैजिक क्लॉ something like that.
Age of Empires was huge. The Age of Empires was late 90s, if I'm not wrong. Hold on.
Yeah, for sure it
Yeah,
was
the
late
first,
90s.
the first
I got
installment.
introduced
When
to
I
it
got my
my
first
time.
computer, it was like 2009. That time, Age of Empire 3 was in hype. So
Yeah.
I don't know when.
I remember
Yeah,
the
so I
Red
was
Icon.
playing the second one, I guess. And
Yeah.
my dad, I was playing in my dad's office, and my dad was posted out in the fields, like
Acha.
ahead towards the border. And I was with him, and he just comes up frustrated from his job and he sits on his deck. Okay, and as soon as he sits on his deck, he looks left, and there are like three of us playing Age of Empires. Okay, and two of my friends get up and they bounce off, and they're just like, "We'll meet you later." And my dad goes like, "What are you playing?" And then I explain him the whole game, how structured the game was, right?
Wow.
And being a defensive person, like personal, he just went like, "That is amazing. That is one thing that you should do."
Yeah, I mean
And
that.
that's
Yeah.
the boost. I mean, I guess it's small circumstances in your life which you just take forward in order to build up the bigger perspective of how things are supposed to be.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was trying to say, right? You know, mindsets match, and there you have your way paved, I guess. He being from a military background, I believe he was very keen about the historic way of militaries, right? So I think
Yeah.
that sort of that hit it off very quickly, and that's how he just indulged into the game. But on the other hand, if I would play Midtown Madness in front of my dad, I think he'll slap the crap out of me, and then we will be like,
Yo, road rash, bro.
"Hey,
You
road
cannot
rash,
play
bro.
road rash in
You
front of
can't
your
be drunk
parents.
and driving
You
like
could
this."
What are you drunk?
People with chains and whatnot, man. Rodash was a
Yeah.
crackhead
I've
game.
played road rash in front of my mom. She's like,
ये
me
क्या
and
खेल
my
रहा है?
sister were playing. Huh? She's like, ye kya hai? Magic Law, she could not understand. Even Yo, Mortal Kombat 1999. I
Right,
remember we used to
right,
play that, and I used to play it at my friend's PC who had a PC. And right
right,
now he doesn't game, and I play every day, almost every day.
Same.
Like because of my job, I cannot. But
right,
like at the same time, it's fun. I
right,
still talk to him, and it'd be like, bro, remember the days? He's like, yeah, I don't play anymore, and I'm like, I'm still rolling.
right. And that way, I think yeah, a bunch of games that way. We have been joined by Hydroid as well, by the way, for the first time ever. Guys, Hydroid, which game did you play back in the day that changed your life and your parents' life and your sister's brother's life, and it has helped you?
Well, first of all, hello
Welcome
to
aboard.
everyone.
Hey,
Thank
bro.
you. Thank you very much. I think the first game that I actually played with my dad was on something called a Little Master. It was from a company called Media,
Right,
and this was an 8-bit game days I was talking about. And they were a couple of games that I loved, but the first game that actually changed and I used to play together with my dad was something called Road Fighter.
right. I remember this
It was
NES times, right? If I'm not
yeah,
wrong. Yeah,
exactly. It was a NES game, but yeah, it got ported to other consoles as well. And Media Little Master was the one which was available in India directly from Sony,
right,
because Sony could not legally sell PlayStations yet in India. So that was the game I started off with, and I used to love playing it with my dad more than the game itself. The kind of bonding that me and my dad had with the game,
right,
that was what encouraged the love in video games for me.
right,
But later on, slowly that kept on changing, and dad started becoming, he started becoming more serious towards his career, my education, and all that. So
right,
he started viewing naturally at some
right,
point Indian parents one get, and
right,
he started distancing himself from the gaming scene totally.
right.
And he really had time for us.
Mhm.
I got a PlayStation 1, I got a PlayStation 2, then PlayStation 3, everything. But it was me alone, not with my dad, right? So that
Right,
made a huge. That's the kind of difference I started seeing um, you know, in the influence part.
right.
My brother was always there. He's my Luigi to my Mario. So,
Ah,
uh,
Hey,
that didn't sound
Wow.
right, but my nice.
hey, that didn't sound
Mamma
right.
mia.
I get it.
well,
Nice.
most ungay way.
Yeah, it's
But,
alright. It's alright. Even if it is, that doesn't matter. But alright,
Yeah,
it's
man.
brothers, so be very, very, very
Yeah,
careful.
we get it.
true, true.
Be very
I mean,
careful.
I don't, I didn't mean it in a negative
Yo, the
way.
Of
reference
course,
was
of course.
good.
I
The
like,
reference
I
was a
yeah,
good
reference,
reference,
was
End
good.
it.
Yeah,
He
so
took it
that,
wrong,
End it.
man.
End it.
Shoot.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't do
sorry,
it.
my bad. My dirty mind. Sorry.
Said by, man. Yeah, said by what logic you put in everything, yeah.
And then Joey activates, man. Can't help. Sorry. So.
But yeah, that was what I was talking about, and I really appreciate this topic and the good discussion you guys were having. I like some of the points that Occupied and Rupkin and Birdman, Knockout and Nav, you guys have really brought about. Um, I mean, I just wanted to give them some feedback to the already happened discussion, but again, I don't want to step on anybody's toes here. So let me know if you've already discussed it.
Right.
Did we already discuss about the technology barriers that we had in India?
Technology barriers we
Compared to
didn't have. I mean, like this is, I think, we sort of started
Stepped out
about.
of it.
Yeah, we stepped out of it. We started with the
Kind of
internet
started with
connections.
the internet, yeah.
Yeah, we've
And
been
that was the
coming
only
back
thing.
to it. We've been
Yeah.
coming back to it in bits and stuff.
So that way, I
fine.
think.
I had some points related to that because I've seen first hand how technology was and still is a major barrier in India.
Right.
I worked for a team that was Siddharth knows this. I worked for a team that was managing the servers for Mixer in India,
Right.
and not only that, I've seen the other game servers and everything come to India and then be removed here just because our internet is simply not good enough.
Right. But I was loving loving the way Mixer was working in India. By the way,
Exactly.
Yeah,
the
Not only
platform
it was
wars
that,
aside,
actually
man.
intense. That
Yeah.
was one point I
yeah,
thought that it might just happen and we
Yeah.
might just boom out. Come on.
Yeah. I
exactly.
mean,
Just think about it. We are the most technologically advanced country in this world when it comes to software, right? And when it comes to IT, we
right.
have people who are sorry, I'm muffling up.
Your voice is a little
I'm
muffled
on
up.
phone.
Right. Right.
I
All right.
apologize.
It's also
But again, as I was saying, when it comes to IT, we have the best brains in the industry. We have all the best skill set and technological stacks that we can think of in the industry. But then when it comes to IT infrastructure, we are the poorest because of our internet and because of our lack of maintenance and everything.
right. Right.
That always has been a bane.
Right.
Counter Strike, when it launched, I think CS:GO, they had a server in India, but then they removed it. I think only server right now, but active game has is Valorant. Other than that,
We don't have
we
it.
do not
Fortnite.
have any
I'll tell you
servers in
one
India.
negative side of that also once this is over.
So,
Sure, please go ahead.
yeah. Please.
Um,
So,
yeah,
coming to Valorant, as like we all need servers in India, but again, I would say that people in India are mostly toxic when it comes to Valorant. So, uh, reason being, see, I'll tell you, there are several stages, right, in competitive, like bronze, silver, gold.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Right.
by the time people reach immortal, that is like almost beyond good players, like
Right.
tops at 90, I mean top 10% or 5% of the people who
Right.
are in that stage,
Right.
they switch back to Singapore servers. Why? Because people in India are
Very
toxic
toxic.
and
True.
they don't communicate. So I'll tell you
Right.
what bad thing happen if like if game, I mean, what to say, I'll switch back to Hindi then, ठीक है.
Yeah, sorry, sir.
तो
Please, please. कोई सब
हाँ,
चलेगा.
तो अगर एपेक्स चाहते हैं या कॉल ऑफ ड्यूटी वाले चाहते हैं कि इंडिया में सर्वर आए,
Yeah.
तो उनका बेसिकली क्या रहेगा कि पीपल कैसे हैं, जो लोग क्या देखते हैं मोस्टली, उसके बाद वो इंडिया पे आएंगे. और इंडिया पे
Right.
आने के बाद अगर most of the people are not playing in India server just because people are toxic,
Toxicity.
they'll switch
Yeah.
back to either Singapore or some other servers.
We've
Right.
seen
So
that happen
again,
with
that
Fortnite, by the way. Fortnite came
yeah,
up
Fortnite
with
में हो
and
servers
चुका है.
and
this
they took
thing
it back.
also happened it with PUBG PC Lite, if you guys remember.
No. Yeah.
Earlier it
Um,
was like, oh, PUBG PC aa raha hai, PUBG PC aa raha hai. It was uh, it
Yeah,
was
but
huge news
PUBG
back.
PC had a different impact, bro. At least
Yeah.
for like the people that I used to play with, PUBG PC Lite was like a boom, bro. We used to
Yeah.
jam every day. Like that 4v4, 5v5 जो भी था वो,
Right.
that was the main thing. That was the
The
boom.
death
उसमें
match and
दोनों की
everything else.
गलती है,
Yeah.
गेम डेवलपर्स ने भी ज्यादा इनपुट नहीं दिया और इंडिया में इवेंचुअली डेड हो गया. बट
So that's
अगेन अगर
yeah.
लेकिन
गेमर्स को
Rupal, sorry. Go ahead. Finish it off.
तो मैं यही बोल रहा था कि अगर गेमर्स भी ना अपनी गेमिंग टाइम में अगर एनोनिमिटी को टेक इट फॉर ग्रांटेड नहीं लेते हैं और नॉर्मली कूल वे में बात करते हैं दूसरों से,
Mhm.
टीममेट से, थोड़ा पॉजिटिव
Positive
वाइब्स मिलेगा
community
सबको,
vibes.
पॉजिटिव
Yeah.
कम्युनिटी भी बनेगा. तो वो भी एक
Granted.
रीजन है कि
True.
सर्वर इंडिया पे आए.
True story. I mean, that way, I
Yeah,
think
that's an
Yeah.
interesting point.
that's an interesting
That is
point as
true.
well.
And I think going forward with the whole concept of as a ill intent and just not having a good time, not communicating with your teammates and all of that. We were talking about I was talking about the whole process ki, while we're trying to make gaming more recognized, there is still a long way to make gaming look respectable in the eyes of other people. Somebody brought up CS, right? You guys remember the whole Forsaken incident?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure all of
Yes,
you.
yes.
Pretty much
So
aware, I think.
imagine us as a country, very nascent stage of CS. We're doing really well. We're going well. We're going international.
Right.
We reach there and somebody cheats, and then the entire impression of our country in the eyes of the entire world is word.exe. We are cheaters in their eyes.
Yo,
Cheaters.
I was like, who's Forsaken? And
Isn't
then he said cheat, and then I recalled everything.
it's like we took 2 steps forward, 10 steps back, right? Everything that
True.
anyone would have tried to do just goes back. And I've heard the people who were playing, who are fortunately doing well now in Valorant, Marzel and Hevan and all of them.
Right.
These guys were they weren't even given money to go back to India. They were like completely Optic took away everything. They were like, nah, we're not funding anything of this. The CEO was very pissed. So how
Right.
bad is it, and how bad does it look for the entire country? So, like from a player perspective, you need to take care. You're representing a whole country. It's
There's
like
a whole
a
structure
very
to that as well.
third
Yeah.
world country representing themselves in the World Cup of cricket and then cheating, tampering with the
Yeah.
ball.
This is
Obviously, they
Right.
will then be remembered for that cheating.
But his teammates, I
Exactly.
guess they knew
Of
about
course,
it.
the seriousness about the gaming industry also comes in, right?
Hmm.
If it was cricket and we got caught cheating or something like that, it has repercussions, right? People are afraid of it.
It's
We
regulated.
treat as a national game. We treat it with respect. That's
True.
why it's a matter of pride and everything over there. But when it comes to gaming, again, as we initially discussed, that there is no seriousness about this gaming as a profession, right? So that is where this lax attitude comes in. And
Exactly.
I
So
don't,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel
And
this guy, the guy who cheated, Forsaken, would have thought that he would have gotten away with it, and even if he was caught, there wouldn't have been very big consequences. That is the very reason why he would have done it. But the game
but
being so
but
recognized
again, I'll
internationally,
give you another perspective on that Forsaken issue, right? The entire team was cheating.
What?
Everyone had
Yeah,
cheats.
everybody knew about
was
it.
the guy. He
so
was the guy who
what
got
I have
caught. That's all.
no, what I have seen from the entire incident, because I'm pretty sure if the entire team was cheating, they wouldn't be picked up for Valorant rosters now. The guys who are playing right now, I'm pretty sure something like this stays with you, right? Forsaken has
They're
never
not
been seen
cheating
again.
they're
They were
not
not cheating.
anymore.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
not
bro.
cheating anymore.
So
Not for Valorant. I
from
mean,
what
see,
I've seen,
some strict rules have been established after that. See, I know the Forsaken incident personally as well because I know a friend who's a very close guy to Forsaken himself, right? So that's how I came to know about this. Everyone in the team itself was cheating. They all had the same cheats installed in their PCs. It was not
Right.
that only this guy had it.
He
but
took
It
one
just
for the team,
happened to
though.
be that
the
he got
videos
caught.
that I've seen from the guy who was the captain, he's Marcel. He's signed for Velocity Gaming right now. He plays for Velocity Valorant. That guy called upon an admin to check on Forsaken's PC because Forsaken's PC पे administrator access का dialog box आया जा रहा था. He called
Right.
up a technician. That technician then checked Forsaken's PC, and then the cheats were caught. I'm pretty sure the whole team was not cheating. That's the whole videos
but
that I've
everybody
watched.
was
knew
happening
about it.
back and that was what I
If
came
he
to
knew
know.
about
See,
it, then
again,
he wouldn't have called a technician, right?
Bro,
true. I'm not saying this. What I'm saying is hearsay. But again, uh, it it is completely plausible that he got caught. Is what I'm just saying, right? Even for
Right.
me, it's not a direct source information. I don't know the team directly, or I don't know. I don't have access to the
But
PCs
don't
to
you
check.
think if one guy would have been caught in a team cheating, they would have definitely checked everybody else's PC? It would have been a huge,
Yeah.
bigger fuss if 5 people were cheating, right? They
Right.
had all the reasons to check
But
all
they
the
did.
PC and tell, right?
Exactly, that's the question.
But only one PC
you
was
should ask,
checked.
because they checked his PC. They did not check anybody
Yeah,
else's
yeah,
PC.
yeah. Yeah,
And
only his PC was.
again, another thing I wanted to highlight is somebody spoke about toxicity in Indian servers and everything, right? I think
Right.
Roopkiran, you brought
Roop Kiran did. Yeah.
Yes,
But
yes.
the same thing I wanted to address कि इंडिया में इतनी टॉक्सिसिटी की बात हो रही है नॉर्थ अमेरिका में मैं हूँ जहाँ पे आई प्ले गेम्स यहाँ
You just disconnected, Roop.
Yeah.
Mobile, I guess.
Mobile, I believe. Hello? Wait, what? I think I disconnected. I think he stepped out of the range.
96, 80, 12.
Yep. But I think this is a very interesting discussion of the biggest issue that Indian gaming industry faces, because we've put out I think
1896.
bunch of people who have been who've been representing either the country in a bad manner, or who just happened to be there because some sort of push was initially given to them. Because otherwise, I think if the right push was given to the right people, we would have made some Sachin Tendulkars, like Occupied was
Yeah,
saying.
100%. That would
And
have been the
we
main
didn't have
stage.
that grooming, the kind of grooming that was needed. We don't have those I would say this word out loud, gurujis in the gaming industry, who really would have groomed the crap out of the kids who really deserved grooming, and would have made some Sachin Tendulkar, some sort of Gangulis, some Rahul Dravids, or some Saina Nehwal, some
Very big personalities. Sure.
big personalities for sure. So many other guys as well. Sanya
Also,
Mirza's
you know,
another guys,
Sid bhai,
and
from like a business perspective, I feel Optic got into India for the very first time. They were the first international team, and you know how big
Yeah.
a name Optic has been since the
Yeah.
very beginning, since
Right.
Wasteland days, since the very beginning, Godric
Right.
shotting days. They came in over here. They were the first team. They were probably testing waters, right? Maybe if we would have done well, we would have seen more TSM rosters in different esports. That is
Yeah.
the reason why
Yeah.
TSM was only here for PUBG, right? And for
Right.
no other.
Yeah, they went back.
And
They
they
went
went back again eventually.
Yeah.
So no
Because
one's going to Valorant, because I can definitely, the boardroom talks are, what if another Forsaken comes up? We
Right.
can pull out all our money. So from a business standpoint, from a development standpoint, that is so, it's so backward. It took us like 10 years before.
Yeah, I mean
what we had
that
right now.
that
Yeah, but I guess this
Time warp.
what's that? The guy you were talking about recently.
Forsaken.
Just nahi,
Forsaken,
nahi, nahi,
Evan.
nahi. The
Evan.
CS guy.
Nahi.
Evan.
The guy who shared the story of the
Marcel.
mother sending him to the
Ankit.
Ankit
Venom.
Vanam.
Ankit Pant. Yeah.
Yeah, Ankit Pant.
I guess you've seen his videos. Have you
Yeah.
seen his videos?
Yeah.
So
Not a big fan,
one of
but
his
yeah.
yeah, I mean, even I have. Not a big fan. But at the same time, one of his videos talks about this guy from, I guess, FaZe or TSM's,
Yeah.
Counter-Strike, coming to India, and then he plays with them in some cyber gaming cafe, not cyber,
Mhm.
gaming cafe. And then,
Right.
I guess वो थोड़ा जो stigma है ना, that Forsaken one is starting to being lifted
Catch
off,
on.
and there's an air which is coming in now. The barrier has been picked out. That's what
Right.
I mean, मेरे को ऐसा लगता है. Not only because of Ankit Pant, but also because of what PUBG Mobile got us.
Right.
Like it made an impact and understanding that yes, Indian community has a lot of more to give to the gaming community all over the world.
Absolutely. There are a bunch of topics that I really want to cover in this one as well. Look at this right now. There are a couple of things that right. I just wanted to say this out loud. It's us just boys right now. If that doesn't tell you anything, I think it should. Because right now it's just like we were what about 4, 5, 6 boys who were talking about things that we faced and things that we did. There was only one girl initially. Came in,
Yeah.
then she went back. That disparity between players is also part. And apart from this is one of the biggest issues that I've seen so far. But right now, I would like to conclude this session of the chat here so that we have something lingering for the next one. Because and lingering being the word. Because yeah, because
Don't pull it, bro.
yeah. So because right now I think there are so many issues that we've discussed, but we have not gotten on the same page. And I believe firmly that that at least us, if not other people, but us, the 10, 15 people that we have had on this podcast, I think we need to get on the same page so that at least once this starts, this becomes the epicenter of things, we'll ripple out. And once we ripple out, we'll create waves. Because that way, I think, that way the message gets sent out further. And I believe, again, very firmly, that needs to be done as soon as possible. I think this session was pretty productive, very insightful for me as well, because coming from different perspectives, right from Rukiran's point of the whole toxicity side of things, and then people switching service and that's how we don't get service. But on the other hand, Warzone doesn't bring any service to India, although we have a huge pool of players here. And then
Yeah, they were
Fortnite-
supposed to. There was a
yeah,
petition.
they didn't. They don't focus. And I had a lot of points that I wanted to discuss, but we'll keep this for the next session. In fact, Valorant came with one server, Fortnite came with one server, and then these guys withdrew it. Then a couple of other games that came up with service. But I think, that is one good point that we have had. Then the other one was mindset, and then the other one that we had were technical challenges, right from technologies, the consumer standpoint, consumer technology that sort of boosted gaming in India, and then there are industry level technological challenges at the same time. I think we'll conclude this session for this one. Thanks a lot, boys, for joining in. This was Knockout. This was Nav, Birdman, Roop Kiran, Occupied, Hackdroid, and the lady who joined us was Purple Shrimp. Check out all these guys on YouTube, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot.
See you, bro. Thanks, Mark.